On our podcast show this week, we got some round robin stuff happening. Yep. I've got 3 stories, and Winston has 3 stories. So let's get right into it from the world of tech. Did you want me to go first, or should I go first?
I'll do some rumors.
Okay.
So
rumors
we have a rumor, Apple, with their new iPhone 17. Okay, so this is, of course, a rumor.
Does it fold?
No, it doesn't fold.
Okay.
All right, so there's no foldable. There has been photos of foldable phones, but there's just rumors and, like, you know.
Okay. All right.
But this one is meant to be their next generation phone using their new A19 Pro chip.
Okay.
3 nanometers, apparently, and has Wi-Fi 7 this time.
Wi-Fi 7, okay.
Okay.
So better than the last one.
All right.
20% better performance.
And it's possibly using the new C1 chip as well for the cellular.
Okay.
So we could see that.
But the C1 chip doesn't have 7. This is an updated C1 chip, right?
Yeah, probably.
C1, 2.
C2.
Okay, got it.
But I think the most important thing that they're going to be announcing also is the new M14 panel, OLED panel.
Okay.
So it's going to be a more crisp, more high res, more responsive, I don't know, more nits and things like that.
On the phone?
On the phone, yeah.
All right.
So more hertz, refresh
so it hurts
rate.
more? Okay,
yeah, so it's going to be the so-called new screen. So that's an upgrade from their Retina, I guess.
Okay.
So that's the thing. I'm surprised because I was thinking that they'd be using the M4 chip for the phones, but they're reserving that for their iPads and MacBooks and things like that. So you won't find the M chips on their phones as such. So but the new A19 is meant to be the A19 Pro, the next generation of cellular processors, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be a kind of same thing, same shape. I'm guessing you'll probably be using the same camera, but the iPhone is 16 right now has that bump, the screen bump.
Yep.
I'm guessing they're gonna have the screen more flush to the camera.
Okay.
Maybe just the lens will have the bump rather than the whole unit right there. As you see the whole unit square, the square.
Got it.
The whole square actually bumps up.
Okay.
So they'll have that probably more flush, and then the lens will just pop out a little bit more. But screen size will probably be the same. They'll have the same version like the 17 Pro, and then Pro Max. So yeah, that's the rumors. And we'll probably see when they have it. June? Is it June when they have the
Dub?
Yeah, Dub. Conference?
Yeah, something like that.
June, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Price-wise, probably be the same. I'm not expecting huge major changes apart from the new chip, I guess, and the new screen. So if you're on a 15 or 14, that would be a major jump. But if you're on an existing 16, yeah, it's not.
Did you say same price? I doubt that.
Yeah,
I think it'll be 25% higher.
Yes. With those imports and shipping tax.
It doesn't come from North America.
Well, they are planning their new, how many $1 billion, $2 billion, or whatever $1 billion plants in somewhere, Arizona or somewhere.
That was a plan that was, 3-4 years ago?
But they're investing billions of dollars, apparently, according to Trump. There'd be a new
Yeah, that was
plan.
signed 2 or 3 years ago. You don't just put a plant up yesterday. You just don't do that. So
that's the rumor.
Sorry. That's
based
just
on this,
not how it works.
Would I get one? Depends. I mean, I'm only 15 right now, so if there's a real improvement in terms of performance and that kind of stuff, then yeah, maybe.
I predict a slide in iPhone sales this year. I predict for the first time ever,
I think so.
people will not be upgrading this year. They will see a decline in that, mainly because the cost of the devices will go up, and the utility of the devices is diminishing because most of the time, even in RTX GPUs, most of the heavy lifting is actually done by the AI now.
True.
So,
but like I said, I've recently got the S25, S25 Plus.
Yep.
And that's a good phone, and I use that a lot more now with my camera work and for that kind of social media stuff because it has a lot more options as well. It's and it syncs beautifully with Google and everything, OneDrive and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Whereas Apple, you're stuck with iCloud, and there are other clouds apps, but they don't integrate that well. But with the Samsung, it integrates really well.
Okay.
All your calendars, all your other apps, Google, OneDrive, and everything. So all I need to do is film on my S25. The footage is already on there, and it syncs with my OneDrive, and then I just go on my PC, and it's already there.
Yeah.
I don't need to like fiddle with uploading, cabling, and all that kind of stuff. I just open my PC, it's already on my OneDrive. I just access and directly edit.
Unless you're an Apple user, in which case everything just seems to work together.
If you're in the Apple ecosystem,
which none of us are.
Yeah, the thing is, with again, with the PCs and stuff like that, I can work on my stuff on your laptop or on your devices without having to. Hey, I need this. I just need to log into my account and then I can access the data. Whereas, if you're on an Apple, if you have an Apple and I have Apple, I need to somehow get access. I don't even know how to do it because your stuff is already logged into your Apple account. I can't access my stuff without having to log your stuff out and then.
I have an Apple account, but it's not for that. It's only for Apple TV, and I've discontinued that service.
So, we'll see more about that as we go into June, and we'll hear more about it, and maybe have an Apple event, see what this phone will bring up.
All right. Next topic. How's your handwriting these days?
My handwriting is quite nice, actually. It's not too bad. Why?
Okay. When was the last time that you actually had to use it?
Only my signature.
Okay. When was the last time that you saw the kid using it?
No, it's there on the pads all the time.
Okay.
So
you've never seen them write?
I have a few years ago. A few years ago. And the writing, it's really there isn't a technique. It's a bit messy.
So it's really bad.
It is bad.
Okay.
I don't think they teach that in school, handwriting kind of skills and.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that Gen Z is losing this the same 5,500-year-old communication skill. People are not able to write anymore. Cursive is what we learned in school, I believe. Many of us in the 90s, 80s, growing up, we used to have cursive.
We used to write to pen pals.
Right. We write letters. We used our hands to take notes. We didn't type them into our computers.
God,
we didn't write even being able to write them onto our tablets would have been much better. But many people type.
I remember writing a 3-page essay, and my hand would ache from writing.
Yep, that's right. They cramp up. So this 5,500-year-old skill where we can write with our hands is diminishing, mainly because people are using their devices to type, keyboards to type. And this is people, they're mainly born between 1990s to 2010. All those people are losing that writing by hand feeling, touch, right? So calligraphy and everything. This is why a lot of calligraphy classes are being taught again, because people are actually wanting to learn how to the written word, with a pen, to craft their lettering with their own style and their flair. Because everyone has a signature when you write, but when you type, it's harder to figure out who you are.
That's true. Because handwriting is how you write your signature.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Right.
Okay.
So it's beginning to be lost, but I think that a lot of people are also finding ways to bring it back. But still, as a population, as a civilization, we are losing the ability to handwrite, to actually write our text without punching it into a keyboard. So for future communications, that might be an issue, because then, if keyboards go away, if screens for some reason they do not operate, we cannot communicate in that way. How do we do written communication anymore? How?
Tell you what's even worse is right now we have keyboards, right?
Yep.
With tablets, they don't even have keyboards. It's touch.
It's all touch. It's all touch.
You don't even get that tactile feel anymore.
No, but like my tablet has a pen on it, so I can still write.
Yeah,
I can still write and everything like that. It digitizes it, turns it into printable stuff. But even this popularity is waning, because Apple has decided that they don't want to put this as standard equipment onto their tablets. They want to charge you $169 for a freaking pen, right? So that you are beholden to their ecosystem of products that have no writing ability,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
their pens are not compatible.
you pay for the privilege of writing, right? I mean, this is one of the things that Apple was known for in the past was that beautiful postscripts, beautiful fonts. This is what Steve Jobs was all about.
I remember that. I remember
You
that.
know?
Printers used to have certain drivers with like Apple PostScript and
Apple PostScript. So that was one of the things they were very much known for because beautiful handwriting. So it seems that the company that was all about beautiful handwriting, beautiful script and everything like that, has taken that away from an entire generation.
Yeah, remember that term DTP, desktop publishing.
Yeah. So as you know, once the touchscreen devices roll in and everything, and this is not purely Apple taking this away. This is as an industry, touch devices seem to be a lot more ubiquitous, and keyboards and whatnot. I mean, being able to type at 80 words per minute is actually more or less a prerequisite for most people to be able to get along in coding, in communications and everything. You just work faster and more efficiently. No one's accepting faxes anymore. They're handwritten anymore, unless you're in Japan.
Oh yeah, Japan's still into fax.
Into fax.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but still.
So what's the solution for handwriting? What do we have?
Is there a solution? I think this is going to have to be something that the generation figures out. I mean, calligraphy classes, like I was mentioning, you know, people are now getting into calligraphy. They're buying these sets that actually have paper and pens and beautiful stationery.
And the different types of pens with the nibs.
And the nibs and everything like that.
Yeah.
So this is an entirely new industry that used to not just be commonplace, but people are now getting into pens that are designed beautifully.
I remember back when I was a kid, we used to buy certain pens and they had like expensive pens, standard quality pens. And the pens that you buy, what's that brand? I think it was called Parker. That was a nice brand, right?
There's Cross.
And there's Mont Blanc. You can change different nibs on there. You can do
Mont Blanc, Parker, Cross. All these major pen companies, they had to actually put out stylus pens for a little while. Pressurized cartridges is what they were known for. In space, the space pen. Oh, right. Space pen? It's literally called the space pen. That pen actually had a pressurized cartridge that you can write anywhere, up, down, whatever, while the Russians just used pencils. It took it was like $1 million pen or something like that to develop. But you know, having said that though, graphite, not healthy. So it's floating in the air. So maybe the Russians were a little bit too quick to actually do something like that. That gets inhaled, and actually, you know, like stuff like that might not be so great. So as a generation, it's starting to die. But hopefully, some people know how to do it.
we should, because otherwise, if we lose that ability, then how the hell are we gonna we're talking not like 50 years time, but say 100 years time. That art, well, I wouldn't even say it's art. That the ability to actually write would be gone. We'd just be typing. You know, like when we watch the science fiction movies of the aliens and they're traveling on spacecraft, and all we see is little symbols, and they just use their hands going like this.
Yep.
Because the symbols, they just recognize the symbols. So you're recognizing characters on your letters.
Yep.
That's
or telepathy. Okay. Anyhow, that's depressing. What's your story next?
Cables.
Okay. What about cables? What depressing thing about cables are we going to learn today?
Yeah. Recently, I would say recently, a couple of months ago, I recently bought a little gadget, device, USB device, and I plug it into my computer thinking, okay, I'm going to get some good speeds out of it. Turns out that I'm not.
Okay. Why?
Certain USB ports.
First of all, what was it?
It was an external hard drive. Okay. So I'm supposed to be getting 2,000 megabytes per second, right? That's top speed, like USB 3.2 Gen 2x2, that kind of thing.
All right.
It comes with a cable, so I'm expecting the cable to work. But it turns out my computer has USB 3.2.
Not Gen.
Not Gen 1 probably.
Okay.
Right. So based on your device and your computer or your laptop, it may not run at the fastest speeds.
Okay.
So first thing, you need to check whether your USB port is capable of the higher speeds.
Okay.
Right. Nowadays, and new laptops and new computers have USB 4. which is
Thunderbolt 4.
more higher speeds.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure that the cable is able to support the speeds as well, because if you don't, then you're not getting the maximum speeds.
Okay.
For example, I'm plugging this hard drive into my laptop, which has USB 3.2 Gen 1. It was slower, right?
Yes.
And then what happened was I also realized that this cable, I didn't open or use the cable that came with the box, what came with the packaging,
Right.
which I should have.
Okay.
I only found out that when I used a standard USB-C cable, plugged that in, and I thought, hold on, this is like USB 3 speeds, just like USB 2 or USB 3 speeds. What's going on? So it turns out that cable that I got from my drawer is a slower USB Type-C cable.
Okay.
So what you need to do is, there's a good chart. You can actually search online. It tells you everything about the type of connector, USB-C type connectors, and what type of cables you need. So this is something that you need to figure out and find out by reading the manual, and also making sure that you use the cable that comes with the packaging, not just some random cable you get from the drawer or from other devices. So to get the best speeds and benefits from the actual device. So not all USB-C, I'm not talking about USB-C, but standard USB cables as well. Not all cables are the same as well. So you need to make sure that you do that. And the cabling, not just USB-C cabling, I'm talking about also HDMI cables.
Yes.
Which connects from your graphics card, your console, whatever, going to your TV. Because first things, your TV needs to be having a minimum, I think, HDMI 1.1. 1.1, yeah. But most TVs will have 1.4 standard, HDMI 1.4. Then the cable that needs to be also matching the same standard. Otherwise, you're not getting the high refresh rate, and also you're not getting the high, the not just the refresh rate, but also all the extra bits, like, for example, HDR and all that kind of stuff. And you also get a slow signal between the console, for example, to your TV. So, also need to make sure of that. Because I found out that because my graphics card, I remember, supposed to be able to support up to, say, 240 hertz.
Yep.
Right, no problem.
Yep.
My monitor supposedly was able to support 240 hertz. So I was like, okay, I'll grab my HDMI cable, plugged it in. Hold on, I'm only getting 60 hertz. What's going on? So it turns out that my cable wasn't able to support 240 hertz, HDMI 1.4, and so on, so on. So you make sure that, I think the new standard now is HDMI 2.1, which supports up to 8K at 240 hertz.
Okay.
Or 4K at 200 or 480 hertz. So yeah. So make sure you have the right cable, the right quality cable. But being that, high quality cable means paying more.
But hold on. You said there was a cable already in your hard drive box. Why didn't you just use the cable it came with, because it guaranteed that speed?
I didn't.
That's a bit of a skill issue there.
It is.
Also, your monitor, does it not come with a an HDMI cable? Probably does. It's probably in the box. Where's the box?
They did come in the box, but I didn't realize that it was standard 1.4.
So the standard 1.4 cable was in the box?
Yes.
So did it not say that you needed a higher end cable, or no?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, you should use the cable in the box, which I didn't. But because I have so many cables, I'm expecting they're all the same, but they're not all the same.
Okay.
So
use the cable that's in the box if you want what they advertised outside of the box. If it's not advertised outside of the box, then you get whatever you get. But if it's advertised, you can naturally hold them to that standard, because that's what they guarantee in the box. Yeah. Especially if they don't say that you need an HDMI cable that's different.
Yeah. It's just that you have so many cables, like, from other devices. I think they're all the same. HDMI, right? Same connector, right? But they're not. So
use the cable that came in the box. If it doesn't give you what it's claiming, provided that you check the port that you're plugging into, that was correct port, because it does state that it's Gen 2x2 to get the maximum speed. Yeah. Then you can go back to the manufacturer.
Right. That's right.
And ask about that. Then you can return it.
That's correct. So cable aside, just make sure that you have the right cables. Use the cable inside the box, but also check with your laptop or your PC. Make sure those connectors are able to support the higher speeds. Otherwise,
Now, there are devices out there that will check speed, I believe, but you probably don't want to buy them.
Yeah.
So this is also a good way to check all your cables. Go in to plug them all in, check for the speed. If you know that all of these cables are not going to send more than X amount of megabytes per second when you transfer a file over, they're good charging cables, but don't use them for data transfer.
And,
they may not be reliable.
And I've actually spoken this to Stephen. Those adapters that you buy, they actually degrade your signal as well as speeds, right? Some of them
can if they're not pinned correctly.
Because what you find is a lot of stuff you buy on eBay or Amazon, they're cheap. Oh yeah, these connectors like $5. They don't do. They don't work.
Usually, a gender changer is not going to do much, but if the cable itself is compromised anyway, that might be a possibility because it's only like 5 millimeter or 10 millimeter to the port, right? That's not going to do much, provided that they have all the pinouts correctly pinned out.
Yeah. So what you find is the cheaper adapters don't have the correct pinouts because they're cheaper. Right?
Okay.
So that's cabling.
All right. Garmin users are going to be pissed.
All right. What happened?
Well, earlier this year, Garmin's service went down.
Oh, for the service for the phone, for the watch.
So GPS, the watches did not work. They basically gave the triangle of death, and none of the devices would actually boot up on the networks. Okay, they were probably working on this. Garmin has released a new AI-powered subscription fee that basically allows you to everything you get right now. It's going to stay more or less the same. This new Garmin Connect Plus is going to add AI into your workouts, so that it gives you interesting tidbits about how you're performing, how you can do more, and will better craft your daily workouts to make it a better experience for you based on your statistics.
Right.
It's basically like having a coach nearby that can actually give you the pointers that you need. AI-powered coach that can give you improvements based on your stats and everything like that, provided that you're giving it proper data. Some people don't wear their watches 24/7, in which case it's going to use what limited data that it has to recommend a workout for you. So, for example, if you you put it on in the morning, you go for your 45-minute run, it may give you less accurate rating than someone that has actually slept with the watch, has measured the heart rate variability, has a sleep score and everything like that. And that workout might be better tailored for their physiological makeup, their body battery, if you will, which is something that is actually on Garmin devices. They give a body battery score, a readiness score, and that's only if you wear the watch 24/7. So I think that in a lot of cases, this might be great. A great addition for the additional. They're charging $6 a month, $7 a month, which is like 100 Canadian for the year, $70 US for the year, so 100 Canadian. That tracks. The reaction has been completely negative on it because a lot of people use the Garmin watch and they're worried about the features maybe creeping up to the paid subscription while the free version gets downgraded.
Oh, so they're downgrading the free version, and then
keeping it the same and not improving it on anything new. All the new features will go to the paid version.
All right, Okay, so they're trying to push everyone onto this.
The state is locked. It's like NVIDIA drivers. That's it for all of you RTX, GTX 1080 people. That's it. We're locked. This is the last update.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to look like. Everything else, you got to RTX up for the next features. Okay, and you're going to pay. So a lot of people are worried about that. At the same time, though, a lot of Garmin users also use Strava, which actually rolled out a number of AI features as well too. So the question is, and it's not really a question. Garmin wants that slice of the pie back because people are buying separate devices to get the same AI training data, right? But Garmin, because it's integrated and it has the coaching features built in, I think this is a place where they can definitely grab a lot of market share. Okay. If they position it correctly, right? But in this case, everyone's just mad because they feel that potentially these features will no longer be upgraded. The free version will be neutered a lot, and everything new, everything cool goes out.
Basically doing what Apple's doing, trying to push everyone onto
Apple.
Yeah, like a new iOS, stuff like that. Okay, so in terms of experience, this new AI-assisted coach option and features, the feedback, is it as good or worse? I think the users are just like thinking, well, this is something new and they haven't experienced it. Are they gonna are they gonna enjoy it?
I don't know. Only time will tell. But you can sign up for a 30-day trial, as with most
30-day
things,
trial? Okay.
to see if it actually works with you. Whether these devices provide any value at all is
because
TBD.
you got a Garmin, right?
I got a Garmin. I'm wearing my Galaxy Watch Ultra, but I only wear the Garmin when I'm actually going for a run. So I used to wear it all the time, but now my workouts will be incomplete.
Oh, right.
Right? They'll be incomplete. So
your ability to track everything, and
I would have to wear it 24/7 again.
Right.
For it to have a very good, accurate picture of me and provide me with the best possible training data that I need to set up a new workout. Because one of the things that I love about Garmin when I was wearing it 24/7 is that it did have something called suggested daily workouts. And that was based on me, like how my fitness was and everything like that. It would set my heart rate zones. It would set my pace and everything. It would tell me to do that. Way more personalized. So will it be good? Will it be better? For hardcore Garmin users? Maybe. For those people just jumping on, wearing a Apple Watch or another watch part-time while they're wearing their other watch for workouts only, it might not be the best, thing for them.
So the previous models or previous software wasn't subscription-based, right? It was just on the watch. You just sign up to it and then that kind of thing. So with the Galaxy, is that subscription-based?
No, there's no subscription.
Okay.
It's all free. Just like the Ring was all free.
Right. Yeah.
They're a hardware company. They're not necessarily a subscription company. That may change in the future, though.
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing where you have recurring revenue is
hardware release cycles are one, and then subscriptions will be the other.
So is that?
So that would actually lessen the number of hardware release cycles, which might not be a bad thing because then people can keep their devices every year. But at the same time, though, the company makes more money every single month because they're getting everyone's money.
So subscription, yeah. And that's why you have streaming services making money, and then Apple Store, but
Apple TV doesn't make any money.
Right.
Actually, they're losing money on Apple TV. It's one of their loss leaders.
Okay.
Because they just want to share the pie.
All right. Okay. Share the pie, and also they make their money through Apple Store anyway, right?
Yeah. So top line revenue is based on keeping you in the ecosystem. If you have Apple One, you get all of this stuff. It's just like Amazon. I get Prime. I get Prime. I get video. I get
music.
Food delivery. I get Amazon Music. I get all these other things for that subscription fee per year.
That's quite cheap if you go for that Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime is cheap for what you get.
Yeah,
for sure.
You get the.
Don't get me wrong.
The delivery is good.
Yeah, you get that as well too. The acquisition was actually dodgy because of the way that they bought the company and laid off a bunch of employees, and also decreased the amount of. But that's another story.
Right.
It's slightly evil, but the value you can't deny
the value. So if Garmin can actually push out more value through this subscription that
that's the question right now. Is that will it diminish will it make it so that everyone that has loved Garmin for so long regret Garmin because now the regular way that they use it is a diminished experience?
I see what you mean.
Right? Everything that like a lot of the features I like are like my daily report. Like, how did I sleep? Like, am I feeling okay? How's my body battery? Am I ready for my next workout? What my daily workouts are?
Don't they have that in the subscription based service? Or is it?
No, this is what I'm arguing against. If all of that was free already, and they locked it behind the subscription, wouldn't you be pissed off?
Oh,
right. So I'm getting all this stuff already.
I'm
trying to say that I get it.
You have to pay for it.
And then I don't get it.
You can get it, but you have to pay for it now.
Now I have to pay for it.
Okay. Yeah, that pissed off.
I'd be pissed off, right? Wouldn't you?
What they should have done was
it's like in your car.
Yeah.
If you couldn't use the air conditioning or the screen until you subscribe to the service, wouldn't you be pissed off?
Is that
you get AC right now because you paid for it?
Is that a film? Where they have to pay for that kind of.
Oh my God!
I can't remember what was the film, wasn't it? You have to pay extra for that.
I'm sure it's a film, but think about this, right?
Okay, yeah.
Everything that you expected jumping in the car to be free.
Yeah.
AC.
So you bought your car.
Heat.
It's your car.
Everything is my car. I paid for these features and everything. Locked behind everything. BMW tried to do that.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. It wasn't film. You mentioned about that in one of the BMW.
Elon's cars do that. If you don't, all the hardware was allegedly inside.
You just turn it on, right?
You just have to subscribe to
it and
cooled seats, heated seats, premium sound, so they turn on some more. I don't know, but these are the types of things that you're thinking about. That a car has a certain default experience is diminished, and also added on back onto you if you pay monthly.
I think they should have done is starting from a certain date, make a big announcement, and then from whatever date, selling watches or their devices from that day onwards, then you subscribe. But for existing customers, maybe they can have that kind of service for maybe a year or two, and then slowly kind of wean them in, because then by then 2 years or 3 years, your device, you want to upgrade to your device, right? So you then upgrade to the new device, which is already on that subscription platform.
But that's not the argument here. The argument is that all of the stuff that you get right now, you get right now. You buy the watch, you get the stuff. The future is you buy the watch, you get this diminished stuff, and then you have to subscribe to get it back. Or you continue to get this version of the software, but it's no longer in keeping with what other watches are doing, non-subscribing. And then now you have to subscribe to get the better watch.
To get a better watch,
right?
Yeah.
Because all the stuff is done in the cloud, like an RTX 5090 does most of the stuff, or like the fake frames, right? Issue, So like the default, what you expect is one price, and then what you want is behind a paid
the premium.
wall.
Go for the premium.
The paywall.
Yeah, the premium.
So I don't know how to navigate this. Like, I mean, I tend to only use my Garmin for a certain thing, and to be honest, there's too many other software out there that actually replicates a lot of these things, because Garmin will transmit all of this data to Strava, to Runna, to all of these other workout apps by default, right? But what if they cut that off and made you pay in order to get that data back into these other apps again, which you also have to pay for to get the best experience, right? It's a lot of money for a lot of people. Sports, competitive sports are already expensive enough. They will become more expensive.
It all depends on what kind of model they're going for. Are they going to be doing the Apple style, lock you into the ecosystem, you have to subscribe and that kind of thing?
Well, Garmin's kind of already a locked-in system already, sort of. I mean, if you're a Garmin user, you're kind of a Garmin user because you love the battery life. You love being able to use your phone for 17 days. Or sorry, your watch for 17 days straight without having to charge it. No Apple Watch does that.
No.
Right? No Apple Watch does that. Very few watches. Even my watch, if I turn it on to stamina mode, I might get 3 days out of it. That's it.
Okay.
Max. Right? And that's pushing it. That's like using it very little.
Well,
so anyhow,
what can tell?
Next.
Yes, cost of living is going up, and including all prices of devices, including PCs
and toilet paper.
Toilet paper as well, and eggs. Yeah,
eggs and toilet paper.
But years ago, a standard gaming PC, you could build a budget one for around about $500, right, or less.
Sure.
Nowadays, it's impossible, like, because just one graphics card is going to cost you like $2,000.
Do you need a $2,000 graphics card,
No.
Winston? Do you really?
No. But even for an average gaming graphics card, you're still looking at about $200 to $300 anyway.
Okay.
That's way more than you expect to pay for one. But
okay,
years ago, $500 for a gaming PC, now you can't. You're looking at a minimum of $1,000, right?
Okay.
Around there. That's just a basic gaming PC. So if you want something a bit more, like more RAM, more SSD storage space, a better processor, nicer, cooler, all in one with a bit of RGB and lighting and a nice case, better power supply, you're looking at really spending around about $2,000.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that's the kind of average price now you pay for a gaming PC, which is a shame because back in the day, people used to build their own PCs based on, your budget, and you want to get the best parts for the price to build up a nice gaming PC, right? But now it's pretty impossible now because you see a lot of now manufacturers now, even Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, even our friend Rob Height, right? So they're building pre-built systems, and they start from probably about $2,000, $2,500 up, right? To sell pre-built systems, ready built. And that's the kind of average price that you'd be paying for a decent gaming PC.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, I've always been into the DIY space, and I can see prices going up. First off, the graphics cards.
Mhm.
You know, we all know graphics cards are expensive, and they're the kind of main part where it displays for graphics and all that kind of stuff. So it's, you know, if you've been trying to get one, they're sold out. They're out of stock. They're all sold out. If you want to get on eBay and stuff like that, that's a risk because you're paying well over or even double the price of a normal graphics card.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even with what we call MSRP, like the manufacturer's suggested retail price, it's say it's like $400. Normally, if you go to shops, they'll sell you at that price, which is what it's supposed to sell it for. But most manufacturers or most retailers and resellers will sell it at more than 50%, even double the price over MSRP.
Okay.
So, which is ridiculous. I find it ridiculous because, hey, hold on, it's meant to sell it at $400. Why are you paying for $800 for it? But people are still buying it because there's very limited numbers available, you know, in stock.
Okay.
Two things, I think. Nvidia, for graphics card, as well as AMD, they should do something about it because that's my opinion anyway. They should do something about it because you're selling your graphics card as advertised on their website at say $500.
Yeah.
Just the latest one, say RTX 5070.
Okay.
$549 is their retail price.
Okay.
On Nvidia's website.
Okay.
So the manufacturers then, like Asus, Gigabyte, and a few others, they put extra coolers on there, you know, nice looking coolers, nice lights, RGB,
Sure.
and they sell it for about $50 more, $600, $650.
Okay.
That's expected.
Yep.
That's their retail price.
Yep.
But now, if you go to Canada Computers, Newegg, whatever, they're selling it for $800 everywhere, no
Okay.
matter where you go.
All right.
That's just the retail price in the store. If you go to eBay, it's up to $1,000.
Okay.
So that's the current state we're in now. And
Let me ask you though: is it necessary to build a gaming PC if you want a game?
No, because for $500 you can actually get yourself a PS5, right?
Okay.
Or a.
What about Amazon
Xbox.
Luna? What about Xbox Cloud Gaming?
Yeah. So
What about Chrome Cloud Gaming?
Yeah, so people now, especially for teenagers or youngsters and stuff like that, they you know, Xbox is fine, PS5. I mean, for $500, $300, why not go for that? And plus, you know, you don't have to build anything or having worries about, you know, whether the system will work. It's all guaranteed, right?
But you can still cloud game on a cheap PC with a mouse and keyboard.
You could, yeah. So again, I think is it subscription based on the?
It's subscription based on Xbox. There's some cloud. It's cloud beta.
Yeah. So you can do some cloud
you can
gaming.
play all the cloud games.
Yeah. So I think with the DIY market and that kind of area is where people build your own. You know, that kind of mentality where you say, "Oh yeah, I've got the latest," flex it with it, you know. But yeah, $2,000 to $3,000 is the kind of average price you pay for a decent gaming PC. Okay. But I would say it's pretty dire for the last 2 years. The price is going up. You expect prices to go down, but no, they're going up. And I worry about the DIY market because people are not building PCs anymore.
They are. They're building LLM training PCs now.
As in consumer.
Consumers
PCs.
are building those. They're definitely building those. They want the fastest inference now. They don't want the fastest frame rate. They're building them differently.
I guess.
Yeah, overclocking for faster inferences. Yep, that's the game now. You know, crisis inferences. How fast?
It's like building a PC just for SETI. Remember,
building a PC. People build PCs just to overclock, right?
Yeah, people build PCs just for overclock, and so different type of scene these days. So
okay,
yeah,
that brings me to our last story here, which basically, if you got a RTX 4090 for $1,000, is that a good deal?
How much?
1,000.
4090.
Yeah,
$1,000
used.
They were selling when it first launched $1,500.
Okay, so still okay.
So $500 off. Year and a bit old.
Yep,
it's okay.
Okay.
Second hand, I would buy it. Yeah.
Okay. What if it was $520?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Go for it, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What if it had no GPU or RAM chips?
It's worthless.
Exactly. So people are actually getting ripped off on the internet. They've been buying. People have been getting. This is the next level, right? Next level. So you would used to buy these, like in the first wave, you would have these PCBs that had no RAM and no GPUs on board, right?
But they would advertise
no RAM, no GPU.
They would advertise it as
No. You advertise it as a 4090,
the proper GPU
and everything. But when you get it, no GPU, no RAM
That's
chips.
just a scam.
That's a scam.
Yeah.
Now they're actually putting the chips and the GPU back on, but they're actually not the GPU and chips that you bought.
So, for example, if you buy a 4090, in fact, it turns out to be a 3080 or something like that.
Or something even more sinister. So you basically get the PCB, you get the cooler, and underneath is some whack ass old, some non whatever. It's not the GPU that you paid for.
It's not even
but it's in there. It's soldered back on. All the chips are in place and everything, or glued on, and it looks real. It just looks like it's not working. In fact, some sellers have been so nefarious is that RAM chips, the etching comes off, so you expect that, but the GPU they've actually printed the name back on, right?
So it's not even an NVIDIA GPU.
It might be. It might not be. I don't know. I can't say. But they've etched the right stuff back on potentially. So these have been popping up all over China.
Oh my god!
Because things have happened there, and this is why explains why in our last episode why all of these people that look kind of like us from a certain country that has GPU regulations and stuff for AI stuff have been so adamant and so uppity about getting GPUs, getting enough of them. In fact, I've seen. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think because I've seen people with like 8 GPUs, you're only allowed 1 at the show. 8 GPUs, girls and guys, they're taking 8 at the same time. So they're getting multiple badges by the looks of things, because you have to have 1 badge per GPU, and they're punched.
Right. But how much are they? 1,500 each.
2,000. $19.99 US, or if you wanted the 5080, $1,000.
So $2,000 each, and she had how many?
8.
That's 16 grand there.
You can't do that because I have an NVIDIA GTC badge, and when you buy the GPU, you have 1 chance, 1 ticket, and they punch your badge.
Well, there's another problem. So he or she's got 8 GPUs. How the hell are they going to take it out of the country?
They will figure out a way. They will ship whatever. It doesn't matter, right?
It's just like
they're going to get it back to the country, or they're going to flip it on the spot for 3 times.
Oh yeah, they could flip it.
They could flip it immediately.
Yeah,
right.
5 grand, 6 grand.
I mean, the fact that your badge costs $1,500 to get in. How many badges did you buy to get those GPUs? I think there's another purpose for them. I think they're going back home. I think they're going to power AI systems. Yeah, that's the only way that you can get the top end chips and everything is if you don't export them. You literally take the GPU with you.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
But that's just the 5090s, right?
Yeah.
It's
5090s and 5080s.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, like I said, I think.
So I'm wondering, I'm questioning if anyone knows what they're doing with them for real.
When Michael was saying, when Michael was on our show last time, they were saying that they were taking 4090s.
Yeah.
Buying a load of them, and then taking the chip out, and then resoldering them onto some board or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have multiple 4090 GPUs become a AI accelerator, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're kind of repurposing the 4090s.
Yeah.
To do that kind of stuff, rather than having back in the old day where they the mining machines. Remember, they had like all these graphics cards like that.
So they're buying all of these. These are gaming cards. So when they go through customs, is that like a PS5 or something like that? Yep. Okay, bye. See you.
Yeah, because the big chips, the H100s,
H200s are
impossible.
AI.
They won't be able to get that.
They're not exportable.
They're not exportable.
No.
So,
although having said that, though, how is a border guard gonna know the difference between a 5090 and a H100 or H200? They won't.
You took that through customs. They thought it was, what was it?
It's a mixing board, for God's sake. They don't know.
They don't know.
So all of these GPUs one girl taking 8 of them.
Oh, it's for my family, my parents.
I think she had more than one
brothers.
badge, actually. So it was probably all her. So she probably went back multiple times to grab the same thing. Because you get one ticket, one badge, one GPU.
Yeah, but the guy who's actually selling them would recognize her, though. Like, wouldn't...
You can go back. There were a number of days where you can do that.
All right.
Not always the same staff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But whatever. You know, that happens.
Didn't you feel like you wanted to get one?
I stood in line for somebody to get one. I myself did not want one because that's just too expensive.
But are you guaranteed to get one, though? You're not guaranteed to get one, though.
No, as long as your payment goes through, you're guaranteed to get one if you're in line.
Oh, really?
If you're in line.
So it's not a lucky draw. Like,
no, you line up.
10 for the day. Then whoever lucky 10 in the line will get it.
You line up, you get a ticket, you get one. If you don't get a ticket, you go home.
Also, you're guaranteed to get one if you're in the line, you pay for it.
If you're in the line, you get a ticket.
Yeah.
So many tickets for so many GPUs. If they have 25 or 50, you get 50 tickets. The first 50 get it, the rest go home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you get a ticket and you're guaranteed to get one.
Yeah.
If you pay for it, of course. Oh, there you go. Right.
Or you pass it behind the next guy if you have.
Are you selling this?
I'll sell this for $100.
$100, right? Or more. Hey, that's interesting.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we won't be seeing you for the next couple of weeks because I'm in Japan in the future.
Big in Japan. In Japan.
Yeah. So expect a podcast from us maybe after the 26th of April. Sometime, maybe.
And after Japan, we'll be heading to Computex.
Yes, so expect a whole bunch of interviews back to back for a number of weeks as we learn about what AI is next and what products you can buy.
Was AI a theme last year for Computex?
Yeah, but that was AI. This is AI next.
Oh, AI
it's different.
Next.
It's different.
Next gen.
It's not just toasters. It's like other things.
Next gen AI.
Yeah. Well, I have no idea what that will mean, but hopefully we find out there. And so we'll see you again.
See you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.